Hello, everybody, and welcome back. And so we're continuing on this series of me going through old sketchbooks because I think this is it's not only good for me to look back on sort of my older work and see how far I've come. It's also, I think, helpful for you guys as well because, again, you get to see the progression and that it's not all fantastic work right off the bat. There are mistakes, there is growth, there's going back, there's going forward. So, today's selection of sketchbooks. So we're going to start off partway through this one over here because I actually started this one back in 2016. So we're going to look at 2016, a lot of 2017 from when I was in school. So again, if you want a good idea of what I was doing in like university as far as like my art curriculum, especially sketchbook wise, this is going to give you a little peek into that, as well as like probably the next video I do in this series will also be focusing a lot in that like 2017 2018 range, and we will be finishing off at 2018 because I did go back through this sketchbook and used it in 2017 as well as 2018. So this one in particular, you're going to get some interesting snapshots of my style throughout those like 3 years. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and move these ones off to the side. And we're going to start off with this. So this sketchbook I actually got from, I think, Five Below. It was super cheap, obviously, like under $5. And it has a good amount of pages, but yeah, not the greatest quality of paper. But we're just going to go ahead and get right into this. So as you can see, I started it in, actually right around the time that close to the time that I'm recording this video. We have April 27th of 2016. Then I finished it in like June 11th of 2018. So the first piece here is actually, this was a redraw slightly of a mermaid character that I drew like a year or two before this using like a Mark Crilley like tutorial to draw this mermaid, and so this was like kind of designed, so I was trying to redraw it. And then we're actually jumping for a little bit. So this, I think on the following next page, so this is one of my OCs and he is the partner to the next character you're going to see here. And I was kind of like working out a little bit of his design over on this side, but his name is Craven. And he goes along with this character, who is Merlina, who was very much inspired by a baby barred owl that I saw outside my parents' house that was nesting in the backyard. So that's where the inspiration for this character came from. And then I started kind of playing around with other ideas kind of in that same universe that's separate. But yeah, there is a totally whole story that has been born around that. A little bit tragic, but you're going to see a little bit of like some working out of ideas and like characters from that story throughout this little sketchbook. So this was actually a doodle for a piece I did. I think it was this year, that was called Hades and Persephone's Daughter. And I'll see if I can like find an image and shoot it up here on the screen for you. Some little mermaid characters. And then there, again, there's like kind of more the finalized idea of Craven's look. Some very not great little doodles. So I definitely drew this right as I finished watching Penny Dreadful, which was one of my favorite shows at the time. And of course we have John Clare, and then we have Vanessa. I like those two characters a lot. So then we have this piece here, which is one of my personal favorites out of here. This kind of like snake dragon queen. I think this would be definitely a fun one to redraw at some point. And then this was actually one of my first attempts with my like starting set of Copic markers to do like rainbow hair. And obviously it didn't exactly work the best with the purple. That's what really kind of messed it up. But I definitely think I played around with that kind of coloring concept more than once. And as you can see, obviously it leaks through in this paper. paper is kind of like a very soft feeling. We have this little, I don't know, I was kind of in a Cyclops mood during this time. We have this kind of princess-esque Cyclops girl. Yeah. I actually don't mind that sketch. Here's more of my OC characters. We got Jack, we got Scully, we got Rex. Jack is actually a very old character of mine, like before any of these ones. As I kind of explained in my previous video, all of the characters in this particular story are kind of mismatched from across the years of my drawing experience. But yeah, they're all in the same story together. This was, I think I was playing around with some different idea of a story. I honestly can't really remember much of what the story was about, but it had something to do with mermaids. And then here was my first successful go of the rainbow hair with, again, I think this is one of my first times I started doing like the unicorn women, or maybe, I don't know, it was close around this time that I started doing the unicorn women a lot. But I really liked how that one came out. That was another favorite. This one too, sort of this like, I was trying to do these rosette kind of like hair curls. Very rose inspired. More Scully and Jack. And then again, this, I don't remember what this was for, this story. This was, I had an idea to do like the personifications of like different cocktail drinks. And I can't remember what this cocktail was. Is there a cocktail called Blue Devil or something? Because maybe that's what this was. And then we have kind of like this Medusa-esque idea kind of in her temple. I don't know. Again, I feel like this concept is something that could be really cool to redraw now. There's a lot of pieces I feel like in here, especially around this time, that would be fun. This was another one that was going to be a drink-inspired one. I think this was going to be like pink lemonade or like peach lemonade. But obviously I never colored it. Random boy character. Don't really remember what the inspiration for this was. We have this design, which I still really like. Just kind of like a semi-magical witchy woman kind of vibe. And I love this one. This was inspired definitely by some jewelry, like some really like high fashion couture jewelry. And I kind of just built on that. Was sort of this weird kind of like shadow dog beast thing. Again, this could be another really cool concept to redraw now. But I like the colors that I used in it. We have like an eel mermaid vibe going on. So this was another technically OC that I started, and I had this whole story around. It was going to be like a magical girl series. But I never really could decide on a proper name for it. But it was kind of like a witchy, magical girl-based thing. More designs. It was kind of going to be have a little bit of a enemies, lovers trope going on here. And I was working on the design for the costume. Again, I feel like this would be a fun one to redraw now. This, I'm trying to remember what that became. I think there might be a sketch later on in here that is that thumbnail blown up. But I think I was doing some sort of maybe like Inktober challenge or something. Because I remember like the prompt for this was something to do with altar. So that's what that was. I loved it. This is still one of my favorite doodles in the sketchbook. This Dyrad character. I loved how this came out and the way I colored it. Again, I was so into how I still kind of do this with the hair, this very like graphic line style of hair. Case in point, this one right here. Just a girl in a dress with long flowing hair. Then we have a witch. Not a very good witch, but it's something. We have this like elf girl with this like crazy rose background with this cool like tree tattoo. I never finished coloring this. I used obviously this was colored pencil, so I used colored pencil and like Copic marker or alcohol markers a lot in the sketchbook because that's just what worked. I also at this time I wasn't really using a lot of watercolor either. We have this interesting design. I think these tattoos are kind of cool. Oh yeah, so yeah, we got October 2nd, Inktober 2016. This was something else some other design. I feel like this was partially inspired from some sort of class I was in at the time at college. Like I was talking to somebody, and this is what I was doodling when they were talking about it. This one right here is actually the thumbnail for a piece that I called Sacrifice. I'll again try to throw up an image of it here. But I actually later on submitted this into like a little art contest at a science museum local to the area. This was supposed to be a thumbnail. I was going to do a Corpse Bride fan art, and that never happened. We have another kind of like cat fox girl, maybe. I think it's cat girl. This was again part of Inktober. We had like a little morning, like it was like a zombie girl waking up in the morning, and there was like a spider on her cup. Again, it's kind of a kooky, cute idea. Not the best execution of it, but I think it's kind of cute. Would be interesting to see it redrawn. We have some life drawing stuff. Again, this is probably right when I was starting at my main university and starting off with some life drawing classes. We have another random design with like a crow. That crow is quite wonky, but... And then there is, again, that little thumbnail from back here, blown up. I never inked this. I never really finished it, but it's kind of a pretty idea. I love this one. This was kind of like a Day of the Dead makeup-esque inspired with, I think these were going to be like poppies, and then she was going to have like tattoos on her. But yeah, with like a spiky crown thing. Again, cool idea. Never finished it. I think, oh, this is funny because I think in my previous video, I actually had the finished little design for this because I was like taking suggestions with like, give me 3 keywords or something, and I would make a character out of it. And it was coffee, cool, and sparkly. And I think I ended up doing that in a different sketchbook that I showed last time. Here's another one of my original characters, Muriel. She's a mermaid. Yeah, I was kind of working out character sheets and some facial expression stuff. Yeah, I haven't drawn her a lot after this, but there's a few times. This was actually a design for Muriel, or not Muriel's, Merlina's mother, because again, we got a tragic beginning story. And then there's like this cute little elf girl. I like her shape. And this one, if you follow me on social media, this should be already familiar to a lot of you. Again, I still don't have names for these characters, but this is the first instance that I did kind of like this dragon ice queen thing. And I've redrawn her now 3 times. So this was the first time I drew her in 2000. Again, this is 2016. I drew her again, I think in 2022, although that was a not safe for work version. And then I just recently redrew her for the 3rd time at the end of 2024. That was my final artwork for 2024. But yeah, that's the first instance that I drew her, was in the sketchbook. We have this random sketch. I feel like this was inspired off some sort of doll I was looking at online, if I remember right. I think we're getting to the end of the 2016 section of the sketchbook. But yeah, we have this weird kind of inky horn situation and just a random face over on this side. But yeah, so we're going to stop there. Yes, then that moves into 2017 sketches. So on that note, we're going to switch over to these 3 sketchbooks, which again, these were all sketchbooks that I was doing when I was in school. You can see that I was doodling on the front of it. Obviously, all 3 of these are Canson, mixed media. This is like, what size is this? I can't remember what size, but yeah, I put my name on it and all that, but it's probably close to like a 5x7 or maybe a little bit like an 8x6. No, it's not 8x6. Somewhere around like the 5x7 size. But yeah, so part of the class for 2017, starting in spring 2017, was doing, this was like warming us up for a project that happened in the summer of this time, which you'll see those sketchbooks next time, where basically, yeah, we were doing like 2 life drawings or 2 drawings from life, and then like a 3rd drawing from, it could be our choice, which this is the whole idea for the summer project, only we're doing that more like hardcore. But yeah, we had like these weekly things we had to do for our sketchbook. So yeah, those So let me go back to that first one. This was inside, like, kind of the student center at my college, where they had pool tables that you can go play at, just like places to sit and chill. And as you can see, I started playing around with watercolor at this point. This is just a sketch of this bridge that's at my college, or the college I went to. This bridge is pretty significant, has a lot of like mythology around it. But yeah, small little like pond. That was the second life drawing from that week. Here is the third one. So I guess we were probably doing like 3 life drawings, or no, maybe 4 a week. Something like that. We were doing a bunch of life drawings, and then like, again, something that was our choice, either like a master study or from imagination or something like that. This was right outside the student center. And so like this was like a coffee or like food kind of center that you could go in as a student. And I forget what this building was, but it was all part of the student center. But yeah, just like kind of chilling, doing a little quick life drawing. This was another one of my sunglasses. Again, we're still in week 1 of this project. And then, so yeah, maybe it was like 4 life drawings for the week, and then maybe like 2 of something we wanted to do. So this was a master copy, a Musha master copy that I did. Second Musha master copy. And then I think this was from imagination, kind of trying to play off the master copies. As you can see, there's a big difference between what I could do looking at a reference versus what I was doing just straight from imagination. There's some things that are off for sure. But again, this was very, very early on in sort of my getting into traditional like school curriculum for learning art. And then we have like a write-up, forget what, reading response, yeah. And now we're in week 2. This was one of the lecture halls that I sketched. I obviously got there probably early because I was always early to all my classes. I think this was at the same lecture. I was always doodling in class, so this was not an issue for me to do this like project. But yeah, so obviously it was my phone at the time. Then this is a really bad sketch. I can definitely draw this so much better. So this is actually my family's dog, Mickey, in my bed at the time, my little twin bed. And yeah, that is not a great sketch of him. I have much better ones later on. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because again, all of these are going to be in 2017, and wait until the next video section of this series. There's such a huge difference from this to that. Another reading response that I put in there, because my professors were looking at these sketchbooks every week as like part of the homework, essentially. This was my desk, the desk that I'm still using to this day. Very messy. I was working on a bunch of different stuff, clearly. Did I have plants on my desk at that time? I must have been cleaning my room or something, because the only time I ever sat my trash can on top of my desk was when I was cleaning my room and like vacuuming, because I had a carpet in my my family bedroom. Now we're back to master copies. Maybe that was also part of this this homework, because I had to do like at least 2 or 3 master copies for each week. So this was a Degas, the ballerinas, of course. We have another Degas. This was like the bathing woman. Again, I like how that came out. Referenced use. This is definitely looking at a reference of something on Pinterest of a mermaid that I was looking at. Now we're back to week 3 of life drawing. Actually, I have this the wrong way. So yeah, again, in that student center, there was this kind of cool twisting stairs. I actually took like actual like photos of this, because I was this time of my life, I was also taking a lot of like photography photos with my phone and just like interesting things I saw. I had an interesting eye, to say at the time. So I was very interested in the shapes of these stairs because of the way that they curved and whatnot. In fact, this was using one of the photos I took as a reference, although this is a lot worse than this one. But yeah. You could probably, my little commentary on myself. Why is it so bad? Especially going from that one to this one, it was so bad. Again, I think we're back in the student center down by the pool tables. I was just hanging out here drawing a lot. And this one's actually so there were two main buildings for like the art students that we used. This was like the main on-campus one. There was sort of like it was still on campus, but a little bit off the beaten path, like tucked away in the woods, which was the actual like studio. This was the building that we did a lot of our critiques. There was a little gallery off to the side this way, and also upstairs were the painting studios, and also where you could do a lot of the art history classrooms were kind of up there as well. But also the photography classroom was up this way as well. But yeah, they just had these blocks that we pull out to, especially for like the artists and students who did like 3D work, we would pull these out so they could set their work on there. So obviously I got here early, I think, and I was just doodling. And we're back to our master copies. Of course, we have Botticelli Venus. It was actually, I think, around this time of year that so there was an art museum on campus, and they brought Botticelli's work to campus, and it was a huge thing. It raised a ton of money for the city. Like it was a crazy time. It was very special. Also, before that, before I even was going to the college, they had Leonardo da Vinci, they had Michelangelo stuff there too. So it was pretty wild. Like the connections that they had to bring in that work was really, really special. But yeah, another Botticelli master copy. And then this is a special piece because, again, I was very inspired off the Botticelli Venus, so I made my own Venus, and this was the rough sketch. And then I did the final version. I'll try to throw up a photo here. But yeah, this piece is very special to me because I've also gotten shit for this piece because of how I got positive, like very positive reviews from people, especially online. But then I tried to bring this piece into a physical gallery local to the area, and it got poo-pooed on by the older women who were not about it. It was a whole thing. So here, I think we went to the Virginia Art Museum, and so we were going around, we were taking like small thumbnail studies of whatever we're looking at. Yeah. So I also wrote down the names of some of these. That's cool. The Cup of Death. I remember being really, I'm so glad I wrote that down somewhere. Wow, I was very into this painting. It was very cool. Oh God, I can't even tell what are the notes for this? But obviously we were going around and taking notes. Virgin and the Child and Saint Anne. Yeah, so we were taking notes about stuff we were looking at. And looking at like the composition. That was part of like the exercise for that week. And then we have back to life drawing, week 5. This is inside my family's car. It's probably my dad driving right there. That's funny. We have my desk again with one of my succulents, which that succulent is no longer with me. That one sadly did not make it. That's another funny thing when I look back at some of these sketchbooks, because I sketched my succulents a lot for like the life drawing stuff, and some of them I still have to this day, so they're very old and they've grown so much. So it's kind of funny. It's like a little snapshot of like your baby from the past. I also know which one that is, and that one has sadly passed away at this point. This was on my parents' countertop because I think my dad was trying to start some avocado seeds. And then there was like one of my brother's little action figures laying there. So there was an interesting composition going on. So I was just like, I'm going to sketch this. Very rough. But again, this is great practice. You guys should be doing this. If you want to get better, believe me, you'll see me improve through this exercise. So that is that one. And now I think the next one in this series was this sketchbook. Obviously, we have a 7x10 mixed media Canson. I loved my mixed media Canson sketchbooks. I haven't bought another one of these in a while, though. We'll see if I ever get back to these particular sketchbooks. But yeah, again, we're still in spring 2017. Let me just double check, yeah, because that's capstone 1. So it was referred to as capstone for like kind of going into the seniors. Yeah, capstone 1. So yeah, and there's that succulent. Yeah, sadly the succulent that is no more. That one just recently kicked the bucket on me. But yeah, we have week 4. We have a water bottle. Is it good? No, but it's something. This was actually upstairs in my university's library. This is like one of the windows there, and I was trying to draw. Oh, look, I have another self note here. Yuck, I don't like this one. Let me just we have a hand, my hand to be specific. You're gonna see me do a lot of this for school, especially for the life drawing stuff. I draw hands a lot, which actually helped me to get better at drawing hands. We have another master copy. This is John Waterhouse because I like John Waterhouse. So this is another John Waterhouse copy. And then here's another one that was, this is from Imagination. This is something I did, and I did do a final piece. I'll, again, try to put the photo up here. And this I refer to as Birth of a Universe. But yeah, that was the sketch that I used for it. Pretty wild. And our next page, we have, again, back to week 5. Ooh, pages are trying to pop out of the rings. I hate that about ring binders sometimes. This was my parents' couch in my parents' house. I was sitting there chilling on the little like kind of love seat because that's where I would always sit. And yeah, I don't think it's too bad. I think I got some of the nice folds in there and some of the nice shadows. We have another master copy. Of course, we're doing Leonardo da Vinci. That one is not too bad. Another Leonardo da Vinci, which is a little bit more bad. And then we have from like Imagination. So funny enough, I think in my previous video, I talked about how I did a mermaid that was only using cool tones. This is the accompanying partner mermaid to that, which was only using warm tones. A mix of like watercolor a little bit. I think of probably Copic marker in there. If I turn the other page, yeah, definitely Copic markers in there. But I had some other mermaid doodles on there. Because I always doodle mermaids. It's like one of my comfort zones. But yeah. And that was March 13th of 2017 when I did that one. Here we go. Another life drawing. This is somewhere down on campus in the city. And there was a little squirrel running around, and I tried to add that in there. Here's a messy watercolor sketch of my bedroom. And that was like my closet door. And there was a window over here, bookshelf here as well. I drew one of my big self-portraits on this little stretch of wall there as part of like one of my final pieces for the semester, which is funny. Here's another disgusting watercolor sketch of the watercolor palette I was using, which is that Little Travel Winsor Nude. I think I've talked about that in a previous video. We're at week 6 at this point. Of course, we have some more hand sketches because hands are hard to do. That one's not too bad. Both of those are not too bad. That's awful. And in fact, you can see I put a little X on it because I didn't like it. We have another master copy, and of course, we're jumping into Durr, who is just fantastic. Fantastic work. Especially as printmaker. We talked about him a lot for printmaking. So this was his rabbit. And then this is another one. I did this one as watercolor. It was the wing that he did as well. And then we have our other, which was, again, from Imagination. It's like this head, floating head girl with the flowers. I like that a lot. And then we have a reading response. And then, as you can see, I marked, this was spring break. So I was down in Miami, Florida, because during spring break, which kind of sucked, this was not a good trip. Me and my family went down there, and technically my dad was partially working during that. That's how we got down to Miami to begin with, because he had some work to do there. But yeah, it was not a good trip. Spring break in Miami was not fun. Especially when was I legally drinking, or maybe I know maybe this was the trip where I turned 21 or something, or I was 21 and I had like one of my first drinks down there. This girl actually has a name. I think it's Aurelia. Oh yeah, Aurelia. Spring break. Again, I was obsessed with the jellyfish here. And actually this piece got put into one of my school's little kind of like published art magazines. But yeah, we have her. She was a jellyfish girl base thing. She's cute. Again, obsessed with how I drew hair back then. Again, we're still on spring break. I did a lot of these in the hotel because also the water sucked down there. Like you couldn't even go to the beach because it was like red flagged. The tide was crazy. There was a ton of man-o-wars all over the beach. So like you could not go in the water. But yeah, did this little kind of like apothecary plant little moment. And now we're off spring break and we're back to campus. And this was week 7. I can't remember where I was on campus for this. We have another hand. It is my hand. Big surprise there. Week 7. This was some life drawing sketches. From like probably an open model night. Same here. Because yes, we would do open model nights. We're back to master copies of Degas. This was another like bathing scene that he did. Also in that same vein, I was adding color in there. And then we have other, I wanted to draw some turtles. They're not the worst turtles, but they could be better. This was just an extra because I was trying to do some sort of life drawing there. Did not come out very well. Now we're back to week 8. You can tell I'm starting to get tired during my sketches. I think I was looking at probably some sort of flower bed on campus that had pansies in there. Oh, I think I was waiting for some sort of club meeting or something like that. And this was down in like a building. I can't remember what the building's name, but it was a weird kind of like basement-like section. Also somewhere on campus with these chairs. More of that. Here we have another master study. This is Cotin. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Probably not, but loved the composition of these fruits and veggies. So cool. More of him. But yeah, he had a lot of like very moody paintings with like these still life objects. So, and then here we go. Another one from Imagination. Again, I'll try to find the finished sketch of this because I did end up painting this at the time. She's cute. Another life drawing. This was from my 3D class. This was my partner for the 3D Foundations course as well. So we're getting closer to the end of the semester, I feel like, somewhat. That was probably like beginning of that class because I remember having to do that 3D Foundations course, which was a hell of a time. But yeah, this was sort of like the little courtyard, and the library was over here because basically the art building was right across from this. More from life. Again, there were daffodils blooming at this time. And then some of the trees that were hanging around there. I like that. Again, I like drawing trees to begin with. We have a master copy, and here we go, some Van Gogh. Very loose, watery, light watercolor. But yeah, Van Gogh. And of course, more Van Gogh. Van Gogh himself is one of his portraits. And then this is with my other little sketch. I was drawing Japanese food. Little food sketches. Later on down the road here, I get very obsessed with drawing food. We have a life drawing of a bottle. I think I know what kind of, this is like a Fetman's ginger beer soda. Because that bottle looks very familiar. Or it was like the pink lemonade. It's that brand. Hopefully I have the right name in mind. We have my Van shoes that are very, very ugly in this sketch. Next up, I believe that is my desk again in my bedroom. I know it's hard to tell, but yeah, that's my chair. I still have this chair. Again, still have that desk, and there was a bookshelf right here as well. Trying a different angle of it. What is this? Oh, wait. Oh God, I'm trying to figure out. I drew this upside down in the sketchbook. So this was I was kind of like wanting to study some drapery. So I think I draped a blanket onto the bed frame of, again, my twin bed. And so, yeah, bed, blanket, and then I had like a little bedside bookshelf right here, window, probably some pillows or something on the floor there. That's funny. I didn't even realize what that was because I drew it upside down. We have some Vermeer. This was like the girl with the pearl earring study. It's really, really bad. We have some Michelangelo, some of the muscle with those sketches. I wasn't a big, didn't have a lot of appreciation for Michelangelo early on in my college career, but later on, yeah, I had much appreciation for Michelangelo. For other, we have something random. Can't really explain that, but this is one of my original characters. This is Astra. I still have not drawn her in the illustration that I have stuck in my mind from all the way back here, but yeah, I was working out some of the design for her outfit. There were many churches around campus, or near campus, I should say, and this was the top spire of one of those churches. I was at quite a distance, but maybe I think I maybe took a picture and like zoomed in on it. We have a knobby tree that I was looking at and trying to draw. Here's a very, again, messy, light watercolor of some trees on campus. We're in week 11 now. More of my sunglasses, these little pink sunglasses. I still have these somewhere. All right, and then we have Fuseli. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name as well for the master copy. This is The Nightmare. Love this painting. It's cool. More of that work as well. And then this was also another one from Imagination that I was going to do. I had something specific in mind for the meaning of this, and then I just never finished it. Again, I feel like this would be a really cool piece to finish now. If you guys want me to do that, leave a comment letting me know. But I had put notes about the flowers that they were holding. It was a lotus and an orchid. I'm trying to remember what the meaning was. They had specific meaning. I forget what was going on with this piece. Ugh, that sucks. But I can't remember. We have an oyster shell piece. I collect many shells, and so from my collection, I did this oyster shell, which is not bad. Like, I don't mind this. The background leaves much to be desired, but the shell itself is actually pretty good. And I remember that I did not like these sketches. I had to do these for one of the classes. I can't remember what exactly it was, but I was not a fan of it. But yeah, this was a little kind of like jewelry box that belonged to my mom that she gave me, which during that, like, we did all of these kind of like in preparation for the class. So we had to bring these into like that particular class. I can't remember what it was for. And this is in that same vein, again, spring 2017. And this is a crystal that I have. I still have that crystal somewhere. It was a quartz crystal. And then some feathers. So I also collect feathers. A fan I had. We had to like grab a bunch of different objects that we had. And then I think we had to like take these things, and then we ended up making a design for like an architecture building from this. I can't remember what this class was. But yeah, we had to take like more abstract shapes from those objects as part of this exercise. Yeah, this is definitely what this class was. So basically I had to select these objects and then take parts of it to use as a basis, and like we had to keep simplifying it down and down to like its bare like foundational shapes. And so we did that, and then we had to do like this main piece that like combined it all. And then from that we had to design a building, like this very surrealist building based off these shapes. So this was like, I think this was what I ended up going with, was like this shape of this potential building. Don't know how it would actually feasibly work, but yeah, that's like, I ended up having like on a really big sheet of paper draw this like final building idea. I don't know, it was a weird weird class. But also we have, this was my moon cactus, which I later learned this part is the moon cactus part, which is actually a type of succulent that is grafted onto a different type of cactus, because this part can't make its own like chlorophyll or whatever, essentially food for itself, so it has to be grafted onto another piece. And typically this piece dies, and a lot of people don't realize that these are actually two separate types of cactus, so they'll end up throwing the whole plant away because this part starts rotting. It's like, don't do that. So I noticed that, and I did some research, so I ended up just cutting off this part that was rotten, and I still have the base plant, which is probably like a dragon fruit of some sort, something in that family. I still have that plant. It's pretty wild. We're in week 12. This was one of my like beanie babies, like a little dragon dude. I have like more than one of these. But yeah, that's actually not a bad sketch of it. As you can see, I would hope that you guys at this point can see that I've, through this exercise that obviously we were doing the whole entire semester, I am progressively getting better. And I say that, and then we turn to this page, which is absolutely awful. Again, not all days are good days. I was trying to draw my hand, but make it like, try to break down the geometric shapes of it, holding like this fake crystal, like paperweight. We're back in campus, in one of the rooms. Not much to say about this. It's a chair. Actually, no, I know where this is. This was the top level of the main like art building, because they had some chairs up there, and there's like a balcony that looks down off to this side. We have a master copy. Goodman? Sydney Goodman? I don't remember this artist. This was a architecture person, Santiago Caltrava? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Interesting. I totally forget about that. And then we have our other, which was, again, me from imagination, gonna do this weird headless woman thing with plants coming out. Again, I was selecting specific, oh, it was like a wedding dress. Oh, that's cool. I forgot about this piece. Again, I never finished this, but it would be cool to do something with it. We're in week 13. Again, I think this was like the 3D foundation course workroom. We have a hand. It's my hand, no surprise. Here's my leg. Yeah, I had my phone plugged in, and I had my sketchbook on my lap, and I drew my leg. Probably wearing my like black leggings, workout leggings, because I would bike to school like every day, so I would most of the time be wearing like workout clothes. Oh, I don't know where this is, somewhere on campus with the lights. This is also a master copy, believe it or not, of Philip Guston. Hopefully I read that right. Yeah, very weird work. Very interested in that. We have Moran. I don't remember. This was supposed to be a master copy of something, and it doesn't look like much. Here's our other piece. Of course, Sushi Mermaid. Weird, kind of dark piece when you think about it. And then I think we're getting into, okay, actually, we're going to actually stop with this sketchbook. Yeah, we're going to stop with this sketchbook, and we're going to jump back to the other one, because I know I didn't fill up all of this sketchbook with the school stuff, and I actually go back and I fill up with some other things. Actually, you know what? We're just going to keep going with this one, because the pieces in here are the start of an art challenge that I finish in the other sketchbook, sort of. But yeah, so we're getting back to just like purely imaginative work of mine. We have some girl heads in jars. So more random doodles. You can actually see that building I was working on. There's a little bit of like life drawing in here. What does that say? Oh, word to victory or something with the snail. Okay. What does that say? I'm naked. Squish. That's funny. But anyway, this piece, actually, I did this as a YouTube video over on my other channel a long time ago. Again, we're jumping into 2018 work. This was based off a limited color palette that was like this yellow, this pink, and like these blue aqua colors. I think it's cute. It's got a nice shape to it. Don't know what that was supposed to be. So yeah, this was the beginning of the challenge. So basically I made up this. Do I actually have it in the sketchbook? No, I did it in a different one. I made up a month-long challenge called Mytho March. So it was a challenge during March to draw like different mythology-based things that had various prompts. So this first one here is Anubis, and I still love this sketch. This would be such a cool sticker now. Maybe I should turn that into a sticker. It's kind of neat. And this was supposed to be Anubis's name in hieroglyphics. But yeah, he's cool. I meant to draw him again, like this version of Anubis. And then this was the next prompt, which was, I picked Athena for that. A lot of these I did not end up finishing coloring. And so this was actually a self-portrait of me, but I was trying to copy the style of like from Sugar Ciarra, Peach Pit, again, still obsessed with my little Ciarra egg. I think it's cute. It'd be almost cute to like redraw this and see how I could do it again. You could see my sketch coming through on that side. And then again, still part of the Mytho March challenge. This was Lou, who I picked as a god for that challenge. We have a Kelpie, because I loved Kelpies. I actually like redid like the prompt list in a nicer way. I'll try to again put that up on screen so you guys can see what the prompts were for each day. But yeah, we got Kelpie. We have the story of corn and medicine. Kind of a cool little, that was a cool design, man. That would actually make a kind of a cool tattoo. We have Nu, who was like a night goddess, if I'm remembering right. We have Trinanog. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I did not pronounce that right at all. It's basically the fairy realm. This was the Fates. Kind of a cool little design there. Here's where it just devolves into like rough sketches, but I did finish all the prompts as like these messy, horrible sketches. But we have King Arthur. This was Lakshmi and Vishnu. Hopefully I pronounced that right as well. This is Toth. I remember that. He was cool. It was like supposed to be a accompanying piece to my Anubis, kind of this cool style. Yeah, Toth. We have Neptune's throne. These sketches are so rough. We have the Hades underworld with the, of course, the gates with Cerberus. Basically, this is like the Japanese word for mermaid. Because in Japanese mythology, part of it is like, if you catch a mermaid and you eat the flesh of a mermaid, it gives you like eternal life or something. We have the crossroads. I can't, is this like a Finnish goddess? I can't remember. We have Helen of Troy. God, these sketches are so light and quick. We have Hades and Persephone. I was actually going to do my own version of Hades for Persephone, like as a story. And this was like kind of the rough design for them at the time that I had. Then we have, this is some sword. I can't really read what I wrote there. It was like a mythical magical sword. But yeah, that's the end of that. And we're going to see that again, the rest of those prompts in here. So let's jump back into this sketchbook. And again, we're going to go back in time a little bit. You were just looking at 2018. Now we're going to jump back a little bit into 2017. So again, I was doing all of this during all of that schoolwork. So you'll see this morph and change a little bit as I was progressing through that. Yeah, because this is like right around the same time I was starting the capstone stuff. So we have these two elf characters. I originally was thinking of a story for them, but didn't really do anything more with them. This cool, weird morph of a beast and cow or something. I like how that came out, actually. I don't need a crown to know I'm king. Those were lyrics from a song. I think it's a Hosley song. Can't pronounce it. This was a rough idea for actually the cover of a story I was writing over on Wattpad for a while, an original story that never saw the light of day. We have this one. This is from March 28th of 2017, and I called this the Mayfly because that was the inspiration of it. I think she was cute. Yeah, and this would be kind of a fun one to redraw at some point. Uh, I think this girl was going to be an OC and part of a story, but I can't remember much else other than that. Yeah, again, because I was trying to redraw her more. These were actually thumbnails for a piece that I drew later on, or maybe it was like a continuation piece of something. I think it was actually, I was going to do like a continuation of an older piece. Maybe I'll try to find the image of what I'm referring to. Some more life drawing thrown in here. Using a blue ballpoint pen. Oh, you know what this is? I remember now. I did the pencil sketches of live drawing, and then I came back in afterwards and did the blue pen over it. Cumulus. Yeah, I was going to do all these little like cloud designs. So that was one style of cumulus, and then this was a second style of it. Actually, I think, yeah, this is 2000. So that's interesting. So that's 2017, and then that one is actually, I think, 2018. So that's like the jump in my style from then to then. That's kind of cool that I have that right there. This was 2017. This is actually my character Scully. It's like a little happy Easter post. Ah! So you can see like a mermaid on a surfboard, but the star of this page is definitely the moon and the sun. I actually did like a finalized version, like illustration. I'll try to put it here on the screen of this one. But then I was going to do a accompanying piece that was the sun based off that girl. They're so cute. I forgot about them. They're adorable. More of Scully and Rex. I think this was actually a rough doodle for my 2000, was it 2017 Inktober? Maybe. But yeah, I was trying to do some like little chibi facial expressions. We have some lips and some eyes and some random stuff. Not much more to say on that. I was trying to do something that I used to do as like a really young kid, where I would do like make up these weird mashable like characters, and this was like an attempt at that. I think I was using like a moose, an eel, and like an octopus, maybe, like a bunch of weird combinations of things. Some wolf jaws. That was going to be like, I had an idea for that. And then this one was actually a rough doodle of a character that goes along with the story for Astra. I'm glad I found that, actually. Random kind of spooky girl with a like wolf skull. This is definitely more like rough life drawing stuff. Ooh. Yeah, I was going to do this piece and I was going to finalize it, but that never happened. It's more like Egyptian inspired stuff. Yeah, this is, that's definitely related to 2017 Inktober. Now I remember. So the other one was actually 2018 Inktober. Yeah, these are some ideas that had to do with that. Ugh. I was trying to do a little challenge where you try to draw comic characters, like cartoon characters from memory. So that was my attempt to remember how Danny Phantom looked. Bob the Builder. I was doing this, I think, with my brother. We have Ariel. And of course, we have SpongeBob. I'll murder your whole family. That's great. Sad that SpongeBob is cursed looking as hell. Ichigo. Soul from Soul Eater. That is so bad. I think this one is actually, this was like, goes back to an amino thing where I think I was drawing somebody's like OC or like personification kind of like character. This was a rough thumbnail for an idea that didn't ever finish. These were supposed to also be ideas for something, I think, related to printmaking. Oh, look, here we go. So this was my whole 2017 Inktober prompt list. And so I worked out all the thumbnail sketches in this sketchbook. So this was day one, Swift. We have Divide. So I had a couple different ideas that I was trying to figure out. I ended up going with this idea right here. Poison, which I did go with that. Underwater, I went with this idea right here. Yeah, right here. And then long was like a Persephone looking up at a pomegranate with long hair. What was that? Sword? Oh yeah, Sword. This was actually the first time that became some OCs of mine. Rowan and Ella, and then Shy. I don't even remember what my final. Oh, Shy. Ah, yes. This is so. I had like I was working out trying to figure out so many different ideas for Shy. That one's kind of cute, but I ended up doing. This was also the first time that I drew my OCs, Coral and Dylan. That came out so cute. I love that piece. Crooked. I ended up doing I think something kind of like that idea. Maybe. No, did I not? I can't remember what I did for this one. You actually will see this sketchbook at some point. Um, Screech, I did that composition. Gigantic, I don't remember what I did for that. It wasn't that, unfortunately. Shattered, yeah, it was supposed to be like a mermaid. I went with the mermaid shattered out of a glass or something. I did do that one. That was like for full or whatever the prompt was. I think this was supposed to be some sort of character. I can't remember. Okay, and now we're back to 2018 where I was finishing those Mytho March sketches. And Darby, I think that's how you say it. This is this is a character from Norse mythology. He like transforms into a fish and has like this ring of like endless wealth or something. We have a temple from Egypt. Anthros, which was basically like he's the opposite of Eros. Srogi, basically like I think it's like Russian vampire. We have Iris, who is like a messenger goddess. This is one of my favorite Egyptian myths. So it's basically the battle between Horus and Seth for who was going to be Pharaoh. There's some crazy stuff with the story, and that's why I had that feature with the lettuce leaves. If you know, you know. I'm not going to explain it to you, but if you know, you know. Then we have Leviathan. Kind of a cool design for that. Loki, which again, this is a version of Loki that I had a story that I was writing, and this was my version of Loki, what was going to be in there. We have Odin's Eye over here. We have Ragnarok. And we have just like rebirth, so like 3 different things related to rebirth. So like Phoenix, the Ouroboros, and then something with the egg. Maybe it's like supposed to be cosmic egg. We have some feet studies, which those are pretty good. Random kind of space girl character. More just random doodles. Again, more. Oh, so I was actually working on thumbnails for one of the pieces that I did for my printmaking class for my etching part of it. These are related to mermaid. These are actually like mermaid related sketches, I think, for the following year. Or it was for 2018, actually. This is in a separate sketchbook somewhere we'll be seeing at some point. More kind of random space girls. Again, more of that mermaid idea. I was working out designs. So many designs. This was actually the start of my mermaid, was like a short little like story comic thing. Yeah. I did end up drawing that in a sketchbook somewhere. I ended up drawing that for mermaid. I've drawn that one as well. Yeah. More just like, these are a lot of like thumbnail-y things. I think I did end up kind of drawing a version of this somewhere. I got inspired by this song and I was going to do this whole piece, and then that never came about. I should revisit that idea. Weird kind of like fae-like creature. This was also some doodles for a story that I was going to do. And that has not happened yet, but I still have this idea in mind. You can see that I'm definitely, at this point in time, I was definitely a lot better at sketching. Those are definitely like Pinterest girl referenced. Random dress. So this was actually my redraw of like my title card for, I was going to do like a little slice of life story of myself, and I called it The Comic of a Sleep Deprived Artist. I still want to do this. And this was the last sketch in the sketchbook, which was done in 6/11/2018. It's like this weird space alien girl thing. And some notes from like a midterm critique that somebody else actually wrote those in for me. Painting notes, some swatches, yeah. So that is everything. This was a fairly long video, but those are those sketchbooks. And I forgot to put this back into one of these sketchbooks. There we go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I have more parts to come. We'll probably jump back in time a little bit because I think I still have some other 2017, 2018 sketchbook related things that we'll see coming up. But yeah, that was this portion of this journey, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.